All right. Dirty Sports episode 888, triple eights.
Wow.
Live. Yeah. Live on the YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good Monday afternoon, Joey.
Good Monday afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it.
I missed your birthday. Saturday was your birthday?
Yeah, Saturday, man. Big 4-1, a terrible age.
41. A great age for Mets and Cincinnati Reds fan podcasts. The great Tom Seaver. You're in your 41st year.
That's a good reference right there.
Yeah. You got Tom Seaver year, then you got your Jackie Robinson year, and then it's shit after that.
What barrier am I going to break my Jackie Robinson year? I need to break some sort of barrier like he broke, the racial barrier that by being the first non-white, which by the way, isn't that crazy to think? Like when you think, like, I don't think you people
sometime
think
in your Jackie Robinson year, we'll hit episode 1000, correct?
Yeah.
Or we should hit it. Yeah, we should hit it in your Jackie Robinson year.
I don't know if we will.
Well, we're 112 away.
There's 104 episodes in a year.
Yeah. So just in the beginning of your Jackie Robinson year, we'll hit episode 1000.
Wait, no, it'd be the end.
That'd be in the beginning, Andy, because we're a year from now, we'll be 104 more episodes in.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. I never did good at math.
888 today, episode 888.
888.
It reminds me of Danilo Gallinari. You know, he was born 8/8/1988. That's why he wears number 8.
I didn't know that.
Until he was on whatever team. I don't think he could wear it on the Celtics for some reason.
That's like a rant. That's a deep dive random fact right there.
8/8/88.
You think he knows the Italian reporter who questioned LeBron about
probably
the Godfather?
Yeah.
I feel like that guy should he should come back to Dirty Sports at some point.
Yeah. We should if we talk LeBron James again, we should call him and see if he wants to weigh in.
I'd say he's probably covering the World Cup, but your team ain't in it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Too soon? A little too soon?
He's like, it's like a Godfather 3. We're pretending it's not happening. There was no World Cup. We're pretending like it's not happening, right? Do you have any World Cup talk on the rundown?
I don't.
Have you watched any of the World Cup?
I watched the last 20 minutes of United States, Wales. Didn't watch any of the States, England.
Well, you didn't miss anything.
And see, that's my problem. And I know soccer enthusiasts will come hard at me and say, guys, but like, I just can't get into that. Sorry. I just can't get
to me, like, listen, I'm the kind of guy who, as a baseball enthusiast, explains why, 0-0 games or 1-1 games are more exciting than 6-5 games, but in a way, and this is always the thing that's talked about in baseball. Baseball is the only sport where the defense controls the ball, right? But in a way, the pitcher, like, you're almost on the offensive as a pitcher. I know that's not how it's determined. Like, the offense is run scoring and the defense is, stopping you from scoring runs. But in a way, you really are, like, you're throwing the game. You're controlling the game. So to me, it's far more interesting and it makes far more sense. And this is I've watched a lot of soccer in my day. I'm obviously not a soccer aficionado, but I've watched a lot of soccer in my day. And a defensive soccer game is a lot like a defensive football game. Like, it's not that fun. Like, you can talk about, the two defenses on these two football teams, and we have a 0-0 game. It's not fun. That's not exciting. A 0-0 baseball game, you're usually getting like exceptional pitching, and there's some interest in that.
And this was the headline from ESPN, and to me, this is everything, in my opinion, why I don't follow soccer. United States dominant in draw with England at World Cup. Dude, if your headline is you dominated and the score was 0-0, and again, I know this is a headline, so they're doing whatever they can for you to read the article, but there's something wrong with your sport. I'll just say it. If you dominated the other team and tied, that is the exact opposite of dominant.
Right. And I watched some of that game. It wasn't exactly like, there's hockey games where one team can dominate and, you 0-0 because the goalie play is exceptional. Some guy makes 60 saves in a game. And it's like, man, that goalie. And it's like the U.S. might have dominated ball control, but they didn't get a ton of like really exceptional shots on goal. It's not like the goalie was like amazing.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It was boring. I fell asleep during it. I watched it and I fell asleep during it.
So I don't know. I think they play.
They couldn't have had more of a captive audience, by the way. I was literally locked in a hotel room in Plano, Texas. It was pouring rain outside. I was like, there's nothing else. They still lost you.
They still lost you.
On. There's Michigan, Ohio State. It was like, but it wasn't on at the exact same time. And like, to me, me, like, I'd literally rather watch World Cup soccer than college football. Literally. Because at least that means something to the world. Like, to me, college football means nothing. It truly means nothing. It's not even in terms of a novelty. Oh, it's once every 4 years. No, it's once every fucking Saturday. I don't give a shit. And I was like, time for a nap. I was like playing around on TikTok and sleeping.
I did watch that Ohio State Michigan game, actually. I love that Urban Meyer went right back to being one of the analysts at Fox, like, for their crew. Like, it's just so funny to me. Like, he's just right back there. Does like none of it matters, which again, I don't really care, but I think they should hire. I think the University of Cincinnati should hire him. They just lost their coach to Wisconsin. And I'm like, people are like, but the scandals. I'm like, he's going to win. Who cares?
Yeah.
Scandals. Like who cares? But I agree. I mean, it's tough to get into a sport that's just so, the setup is wrong, right? Like the NFL, they added a playoff team, which I think neither of us were fans of, but say what you want, it's going to be more exciting, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get one more opening round game, because they obviously cut back on the wild card teams.
This is a fun time of year. I saw a stat last night. This is a wild stat. Patrick Mahomes, in his last 25, which almost makes you think his whole career, but it's not his whole career. In his last 25 November, December games, he's 25-0.
Amazing.
He's 25-0.
I mean, this is the thing about Patrick Mahomes, and this is why what's looking like correctly predicted Patrick Mahomes is the league MVP. Although I know we're doing the player of the month. The player of this month is Jalen Hurts. That's who we're going to do this month as the fun player of the month that might win, not Patrick Mahomes. There's a stat like this. There's like 25 stats like this. I mean, did you see he's undefeated on the road against AFC West teams in his career? They flashed during the game yesterday. In his first 75 games, he's first in everything. Yards, touchdowns, completions, or whatever. Completion, like rating. Like ever. First.
It's
not like
nuts.
Not like first, second, first.
Like he's that
In
good.
his first 75 games, he's first in whatever all of that. Definitely yards and touchdowns.
Whoa, did you hear how you sped up there?
No, but I just did get a notice about something like maybe my
Whoa, that was weird, man. You sped up.
I did do a little crack cocaine.
Hey man, whatever it takes to get you through a show, I'm here for it. There's, any drugs. We're not testing here at the Dirty Sports Podcast. It's nuts though. It really is. Like he's running away. I do want to talk a little MVP after him. I have to admit right now, like they said, Andy Ruther, you have a vote. Andy Ruther from the Dirty Sports Podcast, you have a vote for this year's MVP. Obviously, Mahomes number one. I'd probably go Jalen Hurts number two.
It's fair. Nothing wrong with that.
And to be honest,
and this, I believe this is the first year there'll even be a second place vote. I believe they changed MVP voting. Like in the past, it's just been you pick an MVP. In baseball, they've always done baseball. I think you can vote for you vote like 10 or something like that. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why your boy, who I want to talk about in a little bit, that's why your boy never got an MVP vote, because it was just, it was never like a second place vote or a third place vote, which they do in the NBA. I think you could do 3. In baseball, you do crazy. Like if you look at baseball reference for guys, it'll always be like finish 15th in the MVP because they vote for like 10 guys.
Well, if I could vote today, my 3 would go Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow. That's how I would vote.
I think I might go Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Mike White. Personally.
Oh. That, you know what? That game, as far as I felt like they would improve, but like to me, that's one of those, and this will be a good segue to also get into the Russell Wilson talk, because that's one of those guys don't want to play for you, man. As far as Zach Wilson, they don't want to play for you. And
I actually think though that it's even simpler than that. I just think Zach Wilson was really fucking bad, and I don't think that they played better. I just think that he got the ball out on time. He hit guys in the hands. The Jets, obviously at this point, are well coached. It's obvious that their defense plays well. They've run the ball pretty well the whole season. They're like a pretty good team, and Zach Wilson, not just last week, obviously, the 2 games against the Patriots. It's like I know he was winning games, but he's winning games so ugly. He had like one halfway decent performance. It's like the Jets played a bad team yesterday and just played well. Like I don't feel like they raised their game. I think that's as good as they've been playing for a while. And they were playing against shitty competition. And the guy was just hitting, literally just completing relatively fucking easy. But he didn't have a Mahomes day. He just fucking played fine.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's just fucking bad. And of course, then the thing that's about, not wanting to play for him, I think Zach Wilson essentially lost his job with that press conference, but probably should have lost it regardless of the press conference, obviously.
Sure.
Now the question is, if you're the Jets, you might make a playoff. You might make the playoffs this year. You might not. It's going to be close. But you're definitely building something. You're in a tough division. You basically every team in your division, the top 2 teams in your division are good and probably going to get better over the next couple of years. And then you have the Patriots, which you can't really count on them failing. If the Jets are playing this well, you got to make a move right now. Who do you go get? You can't draft another quarterback. So what do you do? Are you Jimmy G'ing it next year? Are
Well,
you know, trying to make a move for a Derek Carr type? Like, I don't like, what's your move if you're the Jets?
just not even giving Mike White a chance, are you?
No, I am, but like, I would say he has the rest of the season to prove like it should be his job, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess if the Jets win how many games of their last 5, does Mike White get to keep his job?
6.
6 games. They have 6 games left. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? He's got to go 4-2?
Well, it's tough sledding, that division.
Or you've got to win a playoff game, like you get in.
But
win a
you
playoff game?
said first of all, you have to just continue playing at a much better level than Zach Wilson. I mean,
yeah,
the fork is definitely in the road already for what they're going to do. They got to make a choice.
Well, it's not Zach Wilson. I feel like I know they say he's their future or whatever, but like that's bullshit.
I love the meme. I saw the meme of Anakin Skywalker.
Right, with the hood
up, and Zach Wilson with his hood up.
And then there was the picture of everybody on the bench, like the offensive coordinator, whoever, Flacco, and Mike White looking at the 3 of them looking at Microsoft Surfaces, and Zach Wilson looking in the stands for MILFs.
Maybe that's his career, man. The stepbrother porn is really big. Kohlberg can tell us all about that. Like, that's a really big genre of porn these days. So maybe that's his move. His mom can be his manager.
I feel like that has legit potential because he, Pete Rose got kicked out of baseball and suddenly all he did was like sign baseballs in Vegas. And then like Johnny Football, like the scandal was like he was signing shit. So suddenly he's like signing cards guy. And, maybe Zach Wilson just goes straight into MILF porn. Who plays more years in the NFL after this? Zach Wilson or Russell Wilson?
Ooh.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Well, he needs to be benched.
Here's the thing about Russell Wilson, and I don't want to beat a dead bush, to steal a phrase from Andy Ruther. We've talked plenty about how bad Russell Wilson's been, how exposed he has been as a fraud this year. But it's now gotten to like a new level. We're now at the point where this isn't just new team, new coach. I know everybody wants to like say Nathaniel Hackett sucks and whatever, which may be true. But Russell Wilson's playing so poorly. Like the combo of how bad he's playing and his contract, like that trade has essentially set the Denver Broncos back to a point where they may never have been this bad. When's the last? Like this is like pre-Elway bad.
Like if he doesn't turn it around, and there's obviously not any signs right now that he will. I mean, this could be like the worst fleecing of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's next level, and the offense is just so bad. Inversely, I feel like this gets lost in the mix of the whole Russell Wilson Broncos thing. Guys, their defense is average giving up the 3rd fewest points per game in the entire NFL. So like what's crazy is he had good defenses for like his first half with Seattle. That's what he has here. The Broncos are giving up 17.6 points a game. 3rd fewest in the entire NFL. So the defense is holding people to low scoring games, and Russell is doing absolutely, nothing. They got their ass kicked by Sam Darnold, man.
The Elway was the 83 draft, right? The famous 83 draft.
With Marino?
Because they went 2-7 in 1982. They went 2-7. Since then, in 2010, they had a 4-win season. That's it. That's their with Josh McDaniels. That's their only 4-win season. Otherwise, it's 5 or more. Like, he is very likely at best going to tie the single worst season the Broncos have had since they drafted Elway. The single one worst season, probably at best.
So here's my problem with him.
If not being worse than that.
This is why I don't think he'll change. I think he has zero humility. Zero. And he is one of those guys who it's all show. It's all show. There's no authenticity with him. It's all, I'm going to act like I love everybody on my team. And
all I want in life, I wish it was possible. I wish I could have current Andy Ruther debate former Russell Ruther.
But see, here's the thing. Those are all like in the level of the fakeness. He is everything that I don't like about somebody who's fake. He's all those combined into one. And on top of that, playing the Jesus bullshit, which to me it's like you're just hitting the amplify button by 1,000 to make him that much more of an annoying person. Dude, I don't care what you are. Like, as far as you can believe whatever you want to believe religious wise, don't shove it in my face. Don't shove it in other people's faces. I'm not about that. And that's what he does. And that he tries to portray that he's this guy and this rah guy, which I didn't know any of that. None of us did. You talk about being exposed. Dude, you've been exposed more than any player I've ever seen as far as what you thought and then what the reality is. And until he comes forward and does an interview and says, I got to change some shit about my life, I have to maybe recalibrate how I think, how I act. He's not going to do that, though.
But a lot of this, again, the thing about Russell is like, this was, besides the unlimited and the let's ride and all that cringe like celebrity shit that he's pulled in the last couple of years, a lot of this shit was already out there. He's been a Jesus freak since day one. His teammates there's always been rumblings he doesn't get along with his teammates. I mean, now this guy's just straight up yelling at him on the sideline, yelling in his fucking face on the sideline. There's always, I would say, people who, were looking at where he was lacking in success with the Seahawks. There's always been signs of, hey man, like there's a scheme here that's carrying you. And now, yeah, Nathaniel Hackett might be bad. And the Broncos offense does have injuries.
I think he is bad. I'm not making excuses at all. I think Hackett, I think it's both. I think Russell sucks right now. I think Hackett's bad. I think we talk about players team only meeting or players only meeting. He needs to be put on blast. If he hasn't, maybe he has. I doubt it.
And by the way, the thing I brought up, about the Broncos, so they go 4-12 in 2010. Then they go 8-8, 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, 12-4, 9-7, 5-11, 6-10. So the last 5 years, 5, 6, 7, 5, and 7 wins, right? That's where they are the last 5 years. It's not going to get better in the next 5 years.
No.
Because they don't have fucking draft picks. They've committed all this fucking money to him. They don't have the money to spend or the draft capital to spend.
No. They mortgaged their entire franchise on a fraud. Like, as far as, here's the thing.
I would say he is Mr. Unlimited. He's Mr. Unlimited in his fraudulence. There is no limit to this man's fraudulence. Every day we find new fraudulence about this man.
I was going to say he's like Saul Goodman, but he's not. Like, Saul can at least get you out of some shit, right? Like,
I'm offended on behalf of Saul Goodman.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of the equivalent. Is this like the whole, and I'm not smart enough in this area, but is this like the whole crisis of 2008, the financial crisis?
I don't. I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to link this reference together.
So my point is like we're all sold on something, right? Everything was going on with the housing market and all the other financial shit, which again I don't know anything about.
And basically, I'm Christian Bale. I'm like, I fucking told you, people.
Are you wearing shoes and socks right now?
I told you.
You barefoot.
I wish I could sell. I got my socks on. Okay. I wish I could tell. I wish there was a way for me to have gained financially from betting against Russ.
Let me ask you this. Let's go hypothetical. Are the Seahawks right now, they're 6-5. If they have Russell Wilson, is their record better or worse or the same?
I think it's worse based on really
because I'd say it's probably the same.
I'd say based on one thing and one thing alone. Because they obviously got draft picks from Denver, but that'll play out longer. Like I think their record is going to be better going forward for sure than it would be had they kept Russ for sure. But I still think it's better right now because they definitely filled some holes with the money that they didn't spend on Russ.
Well, he was already under contract with them.
Yeah. And then that contract was gone. And they had that cap freed up and they filled some holes with it. And now Denver will just continue to get more holes because they have, I believe, Russell Wilson through 2026. I think like in 2026. How many years did he resign for? But the end of his contract is like $40 million. I think I saw a thing that if they cut him today, it would be like 39 million in dead cap or 36 million in dead cap.
So it's a 5-year, $242 million contract, which includes a $50 million signing bonus and $161 million guaranteed. An average annual salary of $48.5 million.
That's bananas. That's with some of it probably guaranteed. Yeah, I think his cap hit in some of those.
Yeah, so like this year he's not making it. So this year his base salary is $2 million, and the cap hit's not bad at all this year. It's $17 million.
Right,
but the cap hit, holy shit! The cap hit by 2025 through 2028.
Through 2028
is anywhere between 55 and 58 million. The cap hit.
What? What? Imagine, what'd you say? 58 million?
I don't really fully understand again. Financials, not my thing. So the cap hit starting in 2025 is 55 million, then it goes up to 58, and it goes back to 53, and it goes back to 54.
That's hilarious.
Like people need to be fired over this. And conversely, his team.
I feel like I need. Is there a DirtBall out there that wants to do this work? I feel like I need to put together a highlight package of me undressing Russ over the years as a video submission to work for an NFL team.
Again, it's still tough for me because like I just don't understand. Because he had so many good years there, though. It's like, is Pete Carroll, is that system that good?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say
the game, set the ball up with the run, use play action.
Okay, so this is a good.
Don't spend a lot of money. Surround him with a good cast.
So let's talk about another quarterback then, because we talk about the cast and the system. I want to talk about Lamar Jackson, because I think Baltimore is a great system for him, like great, and he obviously turned down all that money, and he's been very successful. The team has individual success. Obviously, the defense is really letting them down a lot, but we all know what happened yesterday with the tweet. And the question I beg, not that it's a Russell Wilson situation because it's not, but it's like, What is Lamar Jackson on a different team? Which I think is a fair question.
I think it depends on what team.
So he deleted this tweet. Somebody tweeted, when someone is asking for over $250 million guaranteed like Lamar, games like this should not come down to Justin Tuck. Is it Tuck or Tucker?
Tucker.
I always say Tuck. Justin Tucker. Let Lamar walk and spend that money on a well-rounded team. Lamar responded on Twitter, boy, shut the fuck up. Y'all be capping too much on this app. Motherfucker never smelt a football field. Never did shit but eat dick.
Right. Now, you said the defense has let him down. And what you mean in that is that they've had a couple leads and they've blown them late in the game. But at the same time, you look at some of the games he lost. Obviously, the Dolphins game is a great example of the defense, 42-38. Bills-Ravens was 23-20. Is that on the defense? The Giants game is 24-20. The Panthers game, they scored 13 points against the Panthers. Like, he's got games where they're scoring 20 points.
No, I know. I'm not
points.
completely excusing Lamar Jackson. I think he made I'll call it a colossal mistake in not taking that money. Because to me,
I think that he made a colossal mistake, and the Ravens were probably saved from a colossal mistake.
Agreed.
Because again, it's fine right now. Like they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
They're in a battle.
They're in first place. They're in first place right now.
For first place in that, but how much worse does their team get the day they have to give him $40 million?
Here's the thing. First of all, that tweet says so much to me about Lamar Jackson. It reminds me of when we used to have discussions about Baker Mayfield clapping back on Instagram and Twitter, getting mad at Colin Cowherd. Dude, you're a fucking clown. I'm sorry. You're a clown show, bro. You are. You're in the middle of a season. You're still in first place because you win the tiebreaker because you beat the Bengals. You're in first place and you care what someone said about you on Twitter? I said before when the Baker Mayfield thing happened, you're not seeing this from Tom Brady. You're not seeing this from Aaron Rodgers. You're not seeing this from Joe Burrow right now or Patrick Mahomes. The list goes on. Dude, you care about Twitter? You are not.
How many of these guys?
You're not who I want as my franchise quarterback. People might think, oh, Ruther's being extreme. I don't want you because you care about fucking Twitter, bro. That's a clown show.
Here's the thing. I'm get your beers ready, DirtBalls, because it's time.
Preferably Miller Lite.
Yeah. I insist it be Miller Lite. But, the Mannings do the Manning passing camp. And there's been a lot of guys that have come through the Manning passing camp at this point. Josh Allen went to the Manning passing camp. Daniel Jones went to the Manning. Like a lot of I think did Stafford go there? A lot of guys in the NFL have gone through the Manning passing camp at this point. I think the Manning passing camp needs to just include, it should just be the Manning life camp. It should be, there should be, every NFL quarterback should wear one of those fucking Lance Armstrong wristbands with what WWTMD. What would the Mannings do?
Yeah.
That's what every NFL quarterback should do. Eli Manning's tweeting about fucking hot sauce. He's not tweeting about fucking, he's not telling people to fuck off. Like, the Mannings should have what would the Mannings do bracelets for every single quarterback in the NFL.
Sure.
Look at it. Would Peyton Manning tell a guy to suck his dick on Twitter?
Eat a dick, but
eat a dick, whatever.
Which, for the record, side note, ESPN should be ashamed of themselves. That's not a homophobic slur. It has nothing to do with sexuality. You tell people to eat a dick, that has nothing to do with it.
What did ESPN say?
That was one of the big news headlines today. The headline was like, deletes homophobic slur. It's like, dude, I tell somebody to eat a dick. I tell my girlfriend that sometimes. Go eat a dick, right? You know, you're messing around. That's not a homophobic slur. And that writer who wrote that story made his replies private, which means he just felt the wrath of a lot of people, rightfully so. That's how they worded it. I just wanted to look quickly and see who's tweeting. So I just hopped over to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's last 2 tweets were promotions.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's done 3 tweets since September 13th.
I don't, by the way, I don't mind these guys having a social media presence and having
I don't either.
A Twitter presence, and you can joke around and you can whatever, but just like it should truly be, what would the Mannings do? Like, just think, you're the quarterback, man.
Like, what? That's my point, though.
But also, fucking, like, you know, we're talking about the Zach Wilson press conference, and we're talking about the Lamar Jackson Twitter, right? None of those things alone are what it is. It's also about the play for me. And now you can be like, blah, blah, blah. The play, Lamar Jackson plays great. Lamar Jackson does play great. If you told me, hey, man, we're going to go out and have a fucking Thanksgiving Day turkey bowl, and, you know, it's going to be an exhibition game, and you can pick all the players, he might be pretty fucking high on my list. But I don't have to deal with cap hits and guarantees and all that. To me, and this goes all the way back to the thing about Russell Wilson and I was never a Russell Wilson hater. I was a Russell Wilson truther. And the truth is, I never thought it was worth the value that they gave him. And clearly it hindered their ability, the Seahawks, to put on the field the defense that won them the Super Bowl. And now you're looking at the Ravens, who've always been a defensive team, who have this guy, and he turns down this money. It's just like, if you're going to go and give him that, just be prepared to do the same exact thing. Now you've got to say, this is about the offense.
And look, and I'm going to say something. Obviously, people might say, oh, you're being a homer, being from Cincinnati. But if you look at that division, we talk about giving money. I'm just going to say it right here, right now. He is nowhere near Joe Burrow's level. I'm sorry. He's not. He's not. Any Ravens fans want to call me cool, say, oh, he's got an MVP. I don't give a shit, man. Joe Burrow is heads and tails. I'm going to say that right now.
Heads and shoulders.
Yes. There we
Head
are.
and shoulders above. Heads and tails. Heads and tails above. He's one point above.
I was all worked up to do my little rant. Joe Burrow is heads and shoulders above Lamar Jackson in every facet of the game. I'm sorry. Dude, come playoff
Obviously
time.
Not running the ball, but yeah.
But that's my point. Come playoff time. I don't give a shit if you can run the ball, man.
Well, again, that's the whole criticism. That's also, to me, the thing that you have to consider. And this is something, listen, the Eagles are playing great football right now. The Eagles are better than I thought they'd be by a lot. Jalen Hurts is better than I thought he'd be by a lot. Jalen Hurts is improving every week. Jalen Hurts is playing great. But now, when you are in the conversation, when ESPN does this thing that Jalen Hurts is right there with Patrick Mahomes for MVP. Well, guess what? Jalen Hurts is going to want to get paid. Then what happens to your roster when Jalen Hurts gets paid? Then what happens to your team when Jalen Hurts gets hurt because Jalen Hurts is running for 150 yards in a game? So
like Justin Fields right now.
So to me,
who's hurt?
Right. To me, the thing is always, it's all about your value. And it's all about playing for a long time. If you want a big contract that goes for years and years and years and gives you guaranteed money, then I expect you to be on the field. You look at what the Patriots did with Tom Brady. He was Mr. Game Manager. They had a defense and he's winning fucking Super Bowls because they're playing defense. He wins a couple. He demands money. They give him money. Suddenly they become an offensive team and they go, we're gonna spread it out. We're gonna get Gronk. We're gonna get all these receivers. We're gonna fucking be throwing in trick plays. We're gonna be doing this. All of a sudden, Bill Belichick's, breaking the rules on the offensive side of the ball, and they're getting into shootouts with teams because they adjusted. Bill Belichick was like, well, if I'm going to give my quarterback all this money, it looks like I'm going to have to focus on making this an offensive team.
So
you can't have a quarterback that's a game manager and pay him like a superstar. If you're going to pay him like a superstar, you better have a fucking superstar offense, because you're not going to have a superstar defense because you can't pay fucking everybody.
Yeah. No, you can't. Well, it's like Randy Ruther was texting me yesterday because T. Higgins had another great game. And he's going to get paid. And I said, look, dude, they're not keeping Burrow, Higgins, and Chase. They're just not. I said, they got to win now. Like Chase is gone, Higgins is gone. I'm just projecting, which I think he's great, right? I think he's a number one on most teams. I'm like, Higgins is gone. I was like, that's why they got to take advantage of this now. You have Burrow, Chase, and Higgins this year. I want to bring something.
Now, a strategy, listen, there's a strategy there, right? There's a strategy of go all in, pay all those guys, say we're going to beat teams 41 fucking 38, right? There's a strategy there. But that Patriots team we just talked about, they beat the greatest show on turf.
Well, it's funny you bring that up.
The Bills, the run and shoot Bills team, that was offense, Mr. fucking high as a kite, fucking smoking weed in the Fox booth, game manager himself, fucking Troy Aikman beat him fucking 3 times or whatever. 2 times. And fucking Jeff Hosteller beat him once.
One thing I worry about if I'm Kansas City, the old theory, the guy who leads the league in passing yards doesn't win the Super Bowl. Brandon, I have it up in front of me. I can't find the last quarterback whose team won the Super Bowl who led the league in passing yards.
Andy, are you joking? This is a Joe Prano fucking stat of it's never happened.
Has it ever?
Is your brain injury acting up? You have a swollen skull. I've mentioned this.
It's never.
Times.
Are you sure?
It's never happened. It's never once happened in the history of the league.
Never.
If it happened ever, it might have happened the year Brady won. But it
didn't. I looked. Brady.
It didn't happen when Mahomes got hurt the year they won the Super Bowl. Mahomes lost the Super Bowl.
I'm looking right now.
It's never happened.
I mean, this is a crazy stat people don't know. Whoever leads the league in passing yards does not win the Super Bowl. His team never wins.
I know. I've said this a million times on the show. And in fact, there was a point when the 2011 Eli Manning season was the most yards anyone had ever thrown for and won the Super Bowl. There was a point where 4,500 yards that he threw for that year was the most anybody had ever won the Super Bowl with. That has since been surpassed, I think.
So the question is, will this hold up? Because right now Mahomes he's pretty far ahead of number 2 and number 3.
Right.
Which I think are Allen and Burrow. He's like 400 or 500 yards ahead of those guys. Now, who knows? Maybe they're so far ahead he doesn't play the final 2 games. So then that crazy thing changes. Is Mahomes the first guy to do this? There has to be one guy. I don't know. I'm looking since.
No, I'm telling you, there's not. If you've gone back 3 seasons or 4 seasons, it's never happened.
I'm back to 1999.
No, it's never. I know for a fact it's never happened. At least in the Super Bowl era.
Brady led it in 2017, but they lost that Super Bowl to the Eagles.
Right.
I mean, Breeze has led.
Breeze did not lead the year they won.
No, he didn't.
And he led so many years in passing yards.
Breeze led him 7 times since 2006.
Yeah. And the Saints never won because they had no fucking defenses.
No, but the year they won, he didn't lead. You're correct.
Right.
Guess who led the league that year? You're never going to guess it. It'd be the 2009 season, 2010 Super Bowl, 2009 season.
Guess who? Job.
Oh, you got it.
That's a good pull, right? I swear to God, I don't even have my glasses on.
Yeah, it's a good pull. It's Matt Schaub. Correct. Just something to think about, Chiefs fans. You're playing great football, but that's a weird little fun stat. Should the Packers play Jordan Love the rest of the year?
Yes. But
I agree.
I think they should play Jordan. So they're sort of in a Russell Wilson situation too. I don't think they could even get rid of Aaron Rodgers if they wanted to. Who goes and gets Aaron Rodgers for that kind of money that he just re-signed for, that he just extended for? How do you possibly? I mean, no. Basically, essentially, Russell Wilson has shown teams like, well, we can't go giving up a bunch of number ones to take on Aaron Rodgers and take on that money. We can't do it. So I think what you have to do if you're the Packers is showcase Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jets want to trade for fucking Jordan Love.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? Maybe the Giants want to trade for Jordan Love. Maybe whoever wants to trade for Jordan Love, you know?
And who knows?
But the only
maybe he'll retire.
Thing, yeah. Right. The only thing with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he just signed that deal. The only thing with Aaron Rodgers would essentially be seeing if a team that feels like it's close will take the money, but not demand the draft picks, because Russell Wilson, like, you know, these things happen. These moves do change the game. You know, teams are going to be, I mean, remember when they stopped paying running backs? You know, you're going to get to a point where you say, well, we can't, like, we'd love to take Aaron Rodgers' money from you, but look what happened. We can't put ourselves in a position where if we don't win, we're hampering ourselves in draft capital. So, like, if you're the Packers, is it even enough for you just to be like, hey, we want it off our fucking books? And a team says, we'll figure out the money situation, but we're not giving you draft picks. I don't know what team that is.
Yeah.
The Niners?
I'm leaning towards Rodgers retiring.
Here's the thing about Rodgers. I know he's hurt now, right? I know he has a thumb injury from week 5. And I know he has what was it yesterday? It was some other injury that he left the game. His ribs, right. So there's that. But prior to that, he didn't start the season where he was, I mean, I guess at least retroactively or reportedly healthy, right? He didn't start the season that great. I don't really believe, we talk about this all the time, and this guy's washed, that guy's washed. And I've talked about it on this show before. I don't really believe in 1 year to the next washedness, especially for a quarterback where the position's really not about being that physical. You know, you see receivers show up to camp and they're fucking slower. They, you know, maybe a guy gets paid, a running back, a receiver, a D-back, a linebacker, and you're just like, okay, you didn't put in the work this offseason. But Aaron Rodgers' work is all here, all mental. You know, it's really not like we've seen Eli Manning showed up to camp every fucking season with a dad bod, just being like, "Ooh, look at me, I was on the beach with the fucking sand bucket." Like he's a fucking meme, you know. So what, like, to me, is Aaron Rodgers just like fully checked out mentally? Because he goes on Pat McAfee. I never care more about winning. I care as much as I've ever cared. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Or is it just a combination of a little physical slippage, a little mental slippage? Because in the offseason, he's dealing with fucking Joe Rogan and COVID talk and the fucking blah, blah, blah. And then also he doesn't have his receiver and the money that obviously he demands, like we've been talking about.
But I thought ayahuasca was supposed to relax you, man.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. But also, he had to deal with a lot of fucking stories.
No, he did. He was the center of attention for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
mental, physical roster combination.
I mean, they were playing pretty good yesterday as far as offensively.
I know.
And then just their defense couldn't stop Philly. Couldn't stop them at all. I don't know, but there's some teams that I don't trust now the more I watch these games. I'm still not buying in. Miami, I know some people are like, oh, great, the Ruther curse. I am not buying into the Dolphins. Nope.
Meanwhile, you picked the Dolphins this week. They covered for you this week. They covered fucking 14 points.
13
and a half.
My two big games covered. I couldn't believe it.
I know that fucking Ram. God, the Rams were right there the whole game, and then interception.
You need tonight's game to break even.
Yeah, I know. I feel confident in tonight's game
because if you don't get that, you lose 2 points.
I'm aware.
I'm just saying.
In Kenny Pickett, we trust.
I'm gonna speak of that. I'm gonna hop over to Prize Picks right now, which, by the way, nice little win on Prize Picks for myself on Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah.
Had a little, they did that special, more or less than half a yard for Justin Jefferson. I parlayed that with Hunter Henry, 3 catches, more or less than 2. My girlfriend's brother got reckless, had her phone, went all in on Jacoby Meyer. Less. I mean, just a reckless move.
Just goes all in on the law firm.
Yeah.
Jacoby and Myers.
On less than 52 and a half yards. And he had like 62. Just a reckless move. But if we pull it up for tonight, and once again, Dirtballs, hop on over, download the Prize Pick app. All first-time users that deposit and use promo code DIRTY will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. It's a great little deal they have. So go ahead and download Prize Picks today and play daily fantasy sports with us. Make sure to use promo code DIRTY when you sign up. Again, that's for all sports. I'm looking right now. They got it all up there. NBA, NFL, soccer, college basketball, NHL. Tonight, more or less 210 and a half passing yards for your boy, Kenny Pickett. I'm going to go more.
Yeah, let's go. I'm in. I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna double down on with you there. Big game Kenny Pickett tonight.
Najee Harris, more or less than 62 and a half rushing yards. I'm going to go less. I just don't like it.
All passing, all Pickett tonight.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Pickett to Pickens.
So you're feeling confident in this game, huh?
Well, not really, but I like it. When I looked at all my games, I liked this one a lot.
But what I was going to say is I'm just not buying in the Dolphins. I'm just not. I don't care what they're doing.
But my question for you is
why?
Listen, yeah, I get this is like an Andy Ruther, like this is a standard Andy Ruther strategy. It's like, I just don't.
No, I have reasons.
But why?
I have reasons right now. I'll give you my reasons. One, first-year coach. Playoffs are a different animal. I love Sean McVay. Took a huge L at home to Matt Ryan his first year in the playoffs against the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
First-year coach. Again, I don't care if they have a home game, if they win the division. Also, we've never seen Tua in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being a hater. I'm not sold on Tua. Everybody's all over Tua. Dude, come playoff time, You can put up 30.5 on Houston. I'm just saying, come playoff time, you're playing the best of the best.
Let me ask you a question. The Dolphins are at San Francisco this week.
They're losing.
Okay. That's fair. It's fine. I might agree with you. But if they win, does it change anything?
Maybe.
Going against his old team, his old boss, on the road, east to west, a team that's surging. If the Dolphins go out there and win, do you believe?
I believe more.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
I'm just telling you, playoff time. I know
this would be a playoff-ish atmosphere, though, right?
Yes and no. I mean, look,
both teams are surging. It would be on the road. It's a playoff quality team. It's certainly a playoff quality defense.
Yeah, no, it is
probably the best defense in football.
I think points per game it is.
Yeah.
They are points per game. They're giving up the fewest points per game. Niners, Cowboys, Broncos, Jets, Bills. In that order. I mean, look, I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased because of how the Tua thing unfolded.
I'm not a super huge fan of the Dolphins. More so probably Tua for me than anything.
Let me ask you this. That gimmicky shit, which a lot of it, like, it works. And again, I like McVay. I would call a lot of the stuff he did gimmicky. Dude, these guys, the Rams didn't win Super Bowl with gimmicky stuff, right? And when they got to the Super Bowl the first time, they got 3 points. I'm just saying, like, come playoff time, I just think these coaches are too good. You need to be able to grind it out drives.
Here's my thing.
I don't see that with the Dolphins.
Here's my thing with the Dolphins team. They beat if you go backwards in their schedule, they beat the Texans. They score a bunch of points. They beat the Browns. They beat the Bears. They beat the Lions. They beat the Steelers. None of those teams are good. The last good team they played, and I'm not even a fucking fan of this team, is the Vikings. Now, did Tua play that Vikings game? No, Bridgewater played. So they lose that Vikings team, but they lose 24-16 with Bridgewater, and then they get their ass kicked by the Jets again with him out. Now, the thing about this Dolphins team is I'm not all in on Tua yet, because if you go back to those games, if you go back to his injury, every game they've played since his injury, it's kind of Alabama in the SEC. They're just like absolutely the better team, and they score a bunch of points and they win an SEC football game. Now, that being said, they go on the road this week to San Francisco. They win that game. I'm in.
Okay. Fair enough. I'd be shocked if they won.
And also, I mean, I'm in depending on how, like, I'm in, if he throws 3 picks and they still win because Jimmy G throws 4, maybe I'm not still in, maybe I'm not in. But if they go out there and if they put 28 points on the fucking 49ers and they win that game, and he throws for 240 yards and a couple touchdowns, then I'm in. Then I'll be like, fine, I was wrong.
Some good games this week. Bengals, Chiefs.
I know. We're getting into the fucking nitty gritty now.
This will be the 3rd time those teams have played in this calendar year. That'll be a fun one to watch because the Bengals have won the last 2, come from behind. So it's like, I don't know, man. This is a good time of year in that East.
Titans, Eagles. That's a low key fucking marquee matchup as well.
Yeah, no, it is.
Especially with the Titans coming off the loss to the Bengals.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I don't know. I mean, this is a fun time.
Giants Commanders is a huge game for the NFC East and the NFC playoff picture.
Oh yeah.
Those two teams play two times in the next 3 weeks. If a team sweeps those two games, pretty much the other team's going to have a hard time making the playoffs, because the Seahawks schedule is a lot easier because they don't have to go. And I think the Seahawks have the Rams twice down the stretch. So the Seahawks could easily sneak in if one of those teams sweeps.
Seahawks let me down yesterday.
Yeah. The Raiders. The Raiders are interesting in terms of, we talked all this quarterback stuff. It's like, me, I'm not a Derek. I wouldn't say I'm a Derek Carr stan. I've always been. I think Derek Carr, and this goes back to honestly what makes me like or dislike guys is just the rating process. I don't even necessarily like Derek Carr more than certain guys. I just think he doesn't get the respect of guys that are probably right around as good as him. But Derek Carr, like, if you're this Raiders team, you got the Chiefs, you've got the Chargers, which honestly, at this point, the Chargers are just injuries and a coach, man, because the quarterback's good. Herbert's great, but like the Chargers play way below their potential all the time. They have a major coach problem. And I know we've talked about it, but it's like, it's beyond the dumb decisions now. It's beyond the fourth downs. It's beyond the fucking game management. We're now at a point where
what do you think about him going for it at the end?
At this point, though, this is what I'm talking about. At this point, this is just like
this isn't the Jags, you know what I'm saying? Where like they have nothing to lose. Their season's done.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. This isn't the Jags. It's like, dude, you don't get this. Your season's basically over.
Right. But I think that's where he's at. My problem is it's like, it's not even about these fourth downs or the 2-point conversions or the whatever. Like, I just don't think he gets them. I think he gets outcoached regularly, like in the grand scheme, not in the details and the analytics and the whatever. It's just like they come into this year, people are talking about Super Bowl and MVP and whatever. And they're just like, meh.
Guys like me.
Yeah. Which is where the league is at, dude. If you have a great quarterback, that should be enough, especially a great quarterback on a rookie deal.
God, man, I know, I agree. I mean, every
like,
year.
Like I'm not over here. There's just not enough tape on Mike McDaniel to say he's an incredible coach. Right? But he's off to a good start. It feels like if you just traded just Mike McDaniel and Staley, that this is what the Chargers are doing, and then the Dolphins would be doing that. You know what I mean? Don't you feel like with just a coaching swap, they'd swap records entirely?
Yeah, I do. I think there's a major coaching issue in or not San Diego, San Francisco, whatever that, LA. Yeah, I mean, he's garbage. He's trash. So, I don't see them making the playoffs. I just don't. They're too wishy-washy. Like, I don't see the Chargers winning 3 straight. Like, that's what you need when you're 6-5. Like, you got to win like 3 straight. Put yourself in contention. I just don't see that. I don't know. I am happy.
But the reason I brought up the Carr and the Raiders is like, is this just them for a while? Like, is this just them for a while? Like, I'd like to see Derek Carr on another team. At this point, bottom line, I'd like to see him leave. And you know me, the easiest way to like have me not be a fan is being a fucking Jesus freak. And Derek Carr is definitely a Jesus freak. But I'd like to see him on another team.
I did enjoy the the player on the Panthers mocking Russell Wilson's. I mean, what is he doing? I want no part of this Dangerwich bet. No part. Dude, I don't even care. I don't even, here's the thing. Yesterday, I didn't even care about the picks that I made on my own. I was just studying that Joe Prano picks. Just studying that. And you took the Bills, and I can't believe the Lions lost and they covered, which is the best of both worlds for me, because Dan Campbell is a clown. I don't care what anybody says. His game management, you were traveling, his game management, not just at the end of the game, in that first half, you heard the announcers talking about it. You heard them talking about it. What is he doing? He is a clown. He has no clue what he's doing. Just wasting away.
I mean, it tells you everything you know about Dan Campbell for him to lose another game like that. But it also, I think, tells you a lot about the Bills. I mean, everybody's on the Bills. Like, I said it last year about the Bengals, and I was wrong or I was right, depending on how you look at it. But can this Bills team be playing down to competition like that, or having this Josh Allen injury, and really be a team that's going to be in an AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl?
Well, that's a good reminder to get those submissions in for the Bills Bengals Monday Night Football, January 2nd, Cincinnati, Ohio. Someone gets to watch the game with Joe, Randy Ruther, myself, in the Gold Star Suite. You also get a meal with us at Gold Star. By the way, the chicken sandwiches and shakes are back.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this has been
it's great news for me.
Yeah. This has been a staple here at Casa de Roscoe from my significant other. Big fan of the strawberry shortcake shake, which I think is a newer one. Anyway, get those submissions in. I see we have some late people coming to the party. Submissions are open right now. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I said we got Matthew Zerkis and Jedediah. It's a two-man race right now. But again, that can change, guys. Just like if the Dolphins win in San Francisco, I can be changed. So get those submissions in, and that'll be fun, because we'll do a whole meetup with the DirtBall fam.
I want to talk quickly, since you just brought up DirtBall fan and meetups and the fact that I was traveling during that Bills-Lions game. I want to touch on a couple things from my trip to Texas, if we have a minute, Andy.
Of course. You sat next to DirtBall?
First of all, I want to shout out all the DirtBalls who made it out. This was a fantastic weekend for DirtBalls that made it to the House of Comedy in Plano for my shows. I normally shout out all the DirtBalls. I'm not even going to name one name of a guy that came, because so many DirtBalls came this weekend, and I appreciate it so much that I know I will forget some, because it was just a fantastic turnout. A lot of Texas DirtBalls, and I love that. So thank you guys so much for coming out. I have a lot of other shows coming up, joeprano.com for shows. Hopefully, if I head to your town or somewhere close by, you can show the support that the Texas DirtBalls did. Fantastic turnout. So thank you to all you guys who came. Thanks for all the Miller Lights that were bought. Thanks for all the shots that were bought. Shots and Miller Lights. I think every show this weekend but one, a Miller Lite came to the green room for me. And it's the nicest feeling when you're sitting in the green room, get ready for your show, because I always would grab a Miller Lite when I would get there, and I would take it to the green room. And usually I'm right around the time I'm going through my jokes. What am I going to talk about? Right around the time that I was like, I got to go back out to the bar, go through the showroom, back out to the bar, get another Miller Lite. Boom. One arrived for me. So thank you. Bringing your families, bringing your girlfriends, bringing your friends, bringing guys you turned into dirt balls, bringing guys you're turning into dirt balls by bringing them to the show. I appreciate all the support. It was a super fun trip to Texas.
It was so good that we lost Joe.
Great show, the House of Comedy.
You there, bud?
I'm there. I heard you the whole time.
I lost you, then you sped up, but now you're back.
Apparently my internet connection is unstable. I was just thanking all the dirt balls for coming and bringing all their friends and their families and their girlfriends and their whatever. So thank you. And then I was saying disappointing game at Jerry Dome, but Jerry Dome does remain like a scene all its own.
Sure.
We talked about it when we went last time. You feel like you're walking into a fucking alien spaceship.
That's wild, right?
It's so much bigger than SoFi. It's so much bigger than like any stadium I've been. Just like the sheer magnitude of it.
It's huge.
It's huge. Cowboys fans, not Eagles fans, not even like San Francisco fans, not even like just they're
pretty chill.
Pretty chill. Never an issue. I was even shit talking in the stands the way I do, like in a fun, friendly way. Early in the game, when the Cowboys went for that 4th down early in the game, this guy's going, go for it, go for it. I was like, yeah, go for it, go for it. He's like, why you want them to go for it? I was like, because they'll run the ball right into the back of the line like they always do, and you'll turn it over. And they did. And I was like, I told you. And he was like, yo, motherfucker. He started talking shit. He had like a face tattoo. I was like, oh, but like never for a second was I scared. Good fans. I actually wanted to also shout out another thing. If you're a Cowboys fan out there, I met some guys, Canadian Cowboys podcast. Good dudes. Was drinking some beers with them in the parking lot. It was a rainy day. I'm sure everybody saw my video from a rainy Miller Lite bar outside of the stadium. But that's outside of the stadium is where I met the guys from the Cowboys Fan podcast, the Canadian Cowboys podcast. And they were good dudes. So if you're Canadian or you're just Cowboys fan, check them out when you're not listening to Dirty Sports.
Well, that's actually a great segue because we got a call from Canadian.
Oh, cool.
We put out the bat signal to hockey correspondent Ryan Klatt.
Great.
And he's answered. So let's get Ryan's call here on the line. 310-359-8365. That is our hotline. Here's our first hockey update for this season.
Hello, Dirty Sports. The Klatt signal was thrown out last episode. So here's a hockey update. We're about a quarter of the way through the season. Here's what's happening in the NHL. The New Jersey Devils have been the surprise team of the year so far. They just reeled off 13 straight wins and had their streak snapped by none other than my Toronto Maple Leafs. The Devils had 3 disallowed goals in the game, and the fans started throwing garbage onto the ice. Things got rowdy, just complete trash behavior from Devils fans. Hopefully Hall of Fame dirtball Kyle Aronofsky wasn't one of them. Another surprise so far, the Seattle Kraken, who were terrible in their inaugural season last year. They put together a nice little start. They won 10 of their last 13 games. So great stuff for CT and other lifelong Kraken fans. We'll see if they could keep it up. Your division leaders so far are Boston, New Jersey, Dallas, and Vegas. The Bruins in particular have been dominant. They're 18-3 to start the year. In terms of individual players, I stroked him off all playoffs last year, and that's going to continue. Connor McDavid, up to his old tricks, producing at an insane rate once again. And here's a hot take for you guys. I don't think any professional athlete in the world is as good at their respective sport as Connor McDavid is at hockey. Joe's going to think that's a ridiculous take, but I think he's just that good. I would maybe listen to arguments on Shohei Ohtani, but standing by McDavid. Okay, that's it for this call. I don't know when I'll call back. We'll see how the season plays out. Stay